Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much. For now, we will speak to Google South Africa. Well, one of the sessions here will focus on the digital economy. We know that with the advent of COVID-19, a lot of things have changed. The way we work has changed. We've seen a lot of people working from home, schools teaching online, and Africa, being a continent with so many people, was one that was seen to be left behind, with about only 300 million people being able to connect to the internet. Well, to take us through this, we are now going to speak to Google Country Director, Dr. Alistair Mokoena. Thank you so much for joining us. We know that Google announced a $1 billion investment for Africa late last year. Can you take us through what that was about?
Thank you very much for having me, Glorious, and good morning to the viewers at home. So in October last year, our global CEO for Google and Alphabet, Mr. Sundar Pichai, announced a $1 billion investment across 5 years across the continent. And I think the reason behind that is that we believe in Africa's potential to succeed, and we understand that digital technology can really help improve lives and livelihoods. So this is really about a couple of areas, the key one being to bring fast, affordable, reliable internet access to the continent. You know, it's said that in 2022, out of 1.3 billion Africans, only just over 300 million people are on the internet. And if you look at Europe, the average internet penetration is about 90%. In the US, it's also about 90%. In Africa, it's mostly around 60%. So we're hoping that our investment will unlock opportunities. It'll help businesses grow. It'll help, people remain productive. It'll, change education by making it online. It'll link our small businesses to markets globally. So we're really excited about the investment. It really will power Africa's growth.
What business opportunities are there in technology for especially young people?
So the digital economy is very exciting. I think if we compare it to a traditional economy, which is a bricks and mortar economy, and we saw with the first lockdown where we were all restricted in our movements, people couldn't go to shops, children couldn't go to schools, and what we did as Google is we stepped in and said digital technology can actually help lives continue. So we trained over 300,000 learners on online education, about 13,000 educators, equipping them with skills. And then I think if you look at the digital economy itself, we also realize that small businesses are the lifeblood of any economy. In this country, small business, I think according to the National Empowerment Fund, contribute about 52% of the GDP, and I think 48% of the labor force. So small business really matters. And what we've done there is that we've understood that for small business to thrive, they need to be online, they need to have a website so that they can access markets all over the world. We've got a product called Market Finder, which actually links small businesses to global markets. I'll actually give an example of Tepo Jeans, a local brand that very quickly got online through Google's help and was able to connect to clients in the UK, in the US, as well as the Netherlands. And there's been many other case studies like the Jotham Guest House in Durban, which was very small, and they got online, they got a website, started advertising online, and before they knew it, their turnover grew by 40%. They were able to employ people, and they're getting guests from all over the world. So the digital economy knows no boundaries. Anybody can transact anywhere in the world. You can scale, and it really just opens up many, many opportunities that the traditional physical economy cannot do.
There's the issue of cost as well. Data is still quite expensive in South Africa, especially. To what extent is the issue of cost a deterrent to connectivity?
So when it comes to internet costs, it takes a whole ecosystem of social partners to each do their bit. So we're thrilled that government has had the spectrum auction, which hopefully will reduce data costs. What we're doing with our $1 billion investment, part of it will go into what we call the Equiano subsea cable, and that cable brings fast, reliable, and affordable internet access from Portugal down the Atlantic Ocean coast of Africa, West Africa, all the way down into Togo, into St. Helena, into Namibia, and it's coming to South Africa. And we're excited because 2 years ago at this conference, we announced that we will be investing in the subsea cable, and that cable lands in Cape Town on the 2nd of June this year, which we're really excited about. But very quickly, what that cable will do is that it will reduce retail and wholesale internet prices by 25%. This cable will increase international broadband for our country, which means internet speeds should treble in the next 4 years, 3-4 years, so by 2025. And real economic growth will be about 0.32 percentage points. And we're hoping that internet penetration in our country over the next 3 years will go up by 7 percentage points. And indirectly, we will create 180,000 jobs. So the real cost of data should come down. There will be much faster speeds. I mean, this cable is incredible. It'll have 20 times more capacity than the previous cable. And in technical terms, it'll have 144 terabits per second, which is super, super fast. So that's really exciting because, I mean, as you can imagine, it'll power all parts of the economy, society, everybody in the economy will be able to access the internet. And that's really when Africa will rise and compete with the best in the world, when everybody has no barrier to accessing the internet.
I guess another opportunity that is brought by the Africa Continental Free Trade, online would have to play a bigger role there. To what extent are people in Africa actually warming up to the idea of buying stuff online? We know that COVID has forced us to try that out, but is there take up?
Oh yeah, so we committed about 3 years ago that we will train 10 million Africans in digital skills. So far we've reached just over 6 million with about 3.5 to go, and we will do that in the next 2 years. And the whole idea is you have to equip people with skills, you have to invest in infrastructure to actually bring the cost of data down, you have to work with the OEMs or the device manufacturers to also bring in affordable smart devices into Africa. You have to work with the telco companies to also make sure that internet costs come down, data costs come down, and we also have to ensure that our products don't actually use up too much data so that people on the continent can actually afford to work with them. So there's a whole lot of work that all of the different players are doing to ensure that Africa really benefits from the internet economy, and that's about ensuring that local currencies are accommodated, local languages are accommodated on the net. And as you travel across the continent, you realize that we are a digital mobile continent. So Africa is very youthful. I mean, in our country, 55% of the population is below the age of 24, and that's the case across the continent. So 60% of all shopping and transactions in Africa happens online through the mobile phone. So if you can get a smartphone that's affordable into the hands of every African and reduce data costs and increase internet speeds, Africa will be a different place in a few years' time. And that's what excites us.
Dr. Alistair Mokoena from Google South Africa, thank you so much for your time. Well, Desiree, that's where we'll leave it with Dr. Mokoena, and now we will go back to you in Auckland Park.